The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten, he wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You can't make this shit up.
Gives them a lot of firepower where they can pressure the quarterback also when you need to. So Faithful will say, boy, that brings back some memories of Jack Squire back in 1983 with an interception right before the half on a similar play and a touchdown.
You can't make this shit up.
Touchdown! Raiders!
Who's got it?
DB shooters, he's got Cooper. There he goes.
And Bo Jackson to the 20 and out in front. And only 1 minute to get in. He's running down. He had the angle, but there goes Bo. And nobody catches Bo. Touchdown.
Touchdown! Raiders!
Little tree trunk reverse.
It's going down, fade to black.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Whoa, a little out of focus there. Guess it'll be one of those things we'll have to deal with at the initiation of the show. I am Captain Jack, and I'm not going to even do it. I'm here. Yarg! Raider Nation. I'm here in the Captain Jack, the Galleon Studios here in Valrico, Florida. Now, the other studio might be deep behind the enemy lines, and it's about, about 3 to 5 miles over that way. Hello, Mandy. Good to see you. Or shall I say another name? I won't go there. Bob, how you doing? I see we have Bob in the house. Hector. Who else is here? George, hey, how you doing there? Lori, my favorite Raiderette in all of San Jose. And I'm doing fine. This is Ask the Captain. And what I wanted to do for Ask the Captain, how you doing, T-Courts, as they say, Tommy? Good to see everybody here. Is, Mandy gets it. That's why, I love the, or shall we say, another name. Hey, make sure you say hello to T-Courts there, Mandy. And again, my favorite lady, presently on hand, pending other things. Obviously, Miss Lori Palomo of Baya Graphics. So, Lori, I got a couple questions I might want to ask you as well. Hopefully, you might be able to hook me up. And this is one of the shows that I wanted to be doing because, again, a lot of people when the commish was doing his I want to say the greatest Raider of all time, and they said, and I quote, man, that Captain Jack, he likes all them old Raiders. He likes all them old Raiders. Well, there's a reason. Not that I'm partial to them, is the fact that, quote unquote, the old Raiders were what I was brought up with, and the fact that it wasn't for the quote unquote old Raiders, I wouldn't be here right now. I think I've told everybody that'll reach out here that I'm from Philadelphia, and most every Philadelphia sports fan loves the Eagles. I don't love the Eagles. I love the Raiders because George Blanda's nephew was a schoolmate of mine. So if you can love another team hey, Brad, T-Courts, that's for Maddie. If you can love another team, you know what I need to do? I need to make sure that my boy will be coming on board. He said he would be, but 1 second. I said I would actually message him, so I'm going to do that now. So I lost my thought, but basically the reason why I love the old Raiders is because the Raider mystique, hey Cheryl, Big E's in the house, were what I was brought up on. The Raiders of the Soul Patrol, the Raiders that were the quote-unquote criminal element. Cheryl, how you doing? The Raiders that I were brought up that were always kicking ass and taking names. These were my Raiders. And it's what I learned how to be a member of Raider Nation. Hey, Di. Thank you. Hey, all of us, Raider Nation for life. If it wasn't for these old Raiders, we wouldn't have what we have today. And, I'm not saying that our fan base is more these millennials. And if you're a millennial and you take offense to that, I'm sorry. But the attention span for these younger generation fans that don't know about where they've come from is amazing. And making sure that person knows to call me up in, we'll go from there. You guys know who it is too. Alonzo Thomas Jr., otherwise known as Skip Thomas's Dr. Death son, going to be calling in 5 minutes. So he'll be calling in 5 minutes. And so when Zoe calls in, we'll go to him. But before we do that, I want to say that I want to catch you up on the Raider news. If you don't know, I'd like to make sure that everybody recognizes and says a solemn, heartfelt regrets or acknowledges the passing of the great Billy Cannon. Billy Cannon was a Heisman Trophy winner, and he played for the Raiders, the old Raiders, the early 60s Raiders under Al Davis. And Al liked to basically, he was accused of being a collector of the Heismans. Al Davis loved his winners. Al Davis loved USC for one thing, because of his ties to them. Yes, Wade, he was a great tight end, but actually he was a great running back. And it was actually Al's work with Billy Cannon that was like a prototypical what was the makings of, I got Matt's got it, Tim Brown and Marcus Allen, but it was Billy Cannon's running which made him have that transition over to tight end. If you think that sounds familiar, you might want to remember that Al saw greatness in Billy Cannon at the running back position, and he said, you know what? With this guy's quicks, with his hands, with his size, he'll make a hell of a tight end. And he did. So it was under that thinking that he did it with another person. Al saw something of a gentleman by the name of Todd Christensen when the Raiders were in the preseason against the Cowboys, because Todd was a running back for the Dallas Cowboys. And Al saw something there. And, of course, obviously the scouting was there as well, but Al saw something there. So when Todd was cut by the Cowboys, immediately scooped up. How you doing there, Leslie? I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you, darling. And congratulations on the VGK going to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I'll get to that later on as well. If I don't, remind me. So again, you can see what Al saw with Billy Cannon, star running back, converted to tight end. Todd Christensen, a very capable running back, converted to probably one of the best tight ends to ever play football. And why he's not in the Hall of Fame, amongst a slew of Raiders that should be in the Hall of Fame, I don't know. But to Billy Cannon and his family, rest in peace from Raider Nation to you. So again, I was talking about Al being a Heisman collector. He was accused of that, but basically he wanted people that were the best athletes in football. No, Kenny King wasn't a Heisman winner there, Georgie, but we'll try. Good try on that. And I was going to say to you, how many Heisman Trophy winners have played for the Raiders? How many? The captain knows. And that's one part of a question. How many Heisman Trophy winners played for the Raiders? And of that number, how many were drafted by the Raiders? There's the question. And I'm hoping to give out at a later time. We'll do some trivia prizes. I don't have any as of this time, but I tell you what I can say. Hey, Raider Reaction said to me, I'm not sure which one of you guys is there. But again, how many? Don't just say them, Georgie. I appreciate it. How many? Give me a number. How many Heisman Trophy winners did the Raiders have playing for them? And how many of them, Big L, and how many of them were actually drafted by the Raiders? I know that answer. So again, we'll go to that. We're going to have Zoe calling in a little bit. You guys are caught up on that. I've already given out one question. Yes, okay, Mike Bo was drafted by the Bucks, but he never played for the Bucks. Okay? Bo was drafted by the Raiders, so he counts. Bo was drafted by the Buccaneers, number 1 overall, never played for the Bucks. And do you know why he never played for the Bucks? I'll tell you why, in case you don't know. Bo Jackson was not allowed to play the latter part of his baseball season at Auburn because he took a ride on an airplane from Hugh Culverhouse of the Buccaneers, who was their owner at the time, to come see him in Tampa. And because of that rules infraction, he was deemed ineligible to play baseball for Auburn. And he was so pissed off at the Bucs. I'm not wearing it all the time, Joey. I got a lot of other things to wear. But he was so, get back to point, Bo was so pissed off at the Buccaneers that when they drafted him and he said to the Bucs, do not draft me, I will not play. But with Bo, well, yes, he was, exactly. He hated Hugh Culverhouse because he had that year of eligibility of playing baseball, and he loved to play sports. So when Hugh Culverhouse and the Bucs drafted him number 1 overall about Bo, he didn't play for the Bucs, and he told him not to draft him. So again, I don't say this egotistically. I just say this because I do know some things, and I like to impart that knowledge upon y'all so that we're all a better fan base because of it. I'm still waiting. Actually, Matt, you're off. Matt gave an answer of 8. That's not the correct answer. And we got somebody calling in. Zoe, are you there, brother? Okay, I'm going to that you're kind of on the low side, so go ahead and talk into the microphone, brother. Hopefully we'll get everybody to hear you. Go ahead and talk there, Zoe.
How's this? It sound better?
Yeah, I hopefully so. Chris Lentz has it. The answer is 10. There were I'm sorry, Zoe. I'll get you caught up. I asked the audience.
No problem.
I asked the audience how many Heisman Trophy winners played for the Raiders, and the answer is 10. Okay, now the second part of the answer is how many were drafted by the Raiders, folks. So, Chris Lentz, get with me after this broadcast. At least I'm acknowledging that you got the answer. And Mandy says hello to you, Zoe. Zoe, are you watching on Raider Reaction right now?
Can somebody send me like a tag or something? I'm trying to find everything right now as we speak.
Okay.
I'll be listening and watching at the same time.
Okay. I was gonna say. If you're on Facebook, there's go to Commish81, COMMISH 81, and that will get you into Raider Reaction.
Gotcha.
There you go. That's even better than the link. I'm walking you through, brother, because I love you.
I love you too, brother. I love the nation. You know how it is.
And that's why I wanted you on. I wanted to make sure that you were definitely one of my first people I was speaking to, and one of the reasons why I had to have you here because Zoe, people were talking about how I am just a lover of the old Raiders, that I don't give. Chris, we'll get first off, since I don't have any prizes to give away as of right now, I owe you a shot. That much I can tell you, Chris. I owe you a shot. Until I get some prizes to give away, I owe you a shot. And Alonzo Thomas has joined, so good. We got you in here, Zoe.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, people always accuse me of being, thank you, Mandy, as well, of being an old fart. That I love the older Raiders intellectual. Oh, Chris. Oh, so you see, Chris, Hector Hernandez wants to borrow your brain because apparently he thinks enough of you. But you are the son of the great Skip Thomas, Dr. Death of the Soul Patrol. And as a son of a great member of the Raiders, partner, the floor is yours. I want you to go ahead and say what being a prodigal son of one of those great members means to you, sir.
Well, first off, I mean, it's an honor, to be acknowledged by the nation for one. I mean, I am not my father, but I mean, I know I do great things out there and stuff like that. So I see why they gravitate towards me. I'm a piece of him that is left here on the earth, walking, in the flesh, and we are a lot alike. It's just an honor, to be in that category with the players and their families and their great families and the things that they do out there as well. It's just an honor all the way around.
Okay. And again, I don't know the ins and outs, and I know that you were writing a book, and I know that there was some things that were sidetracked on that. And again, I trust me, this is not a session where I say yay, nay, or otherwise, but you felt enough about your childhood in order to explore the boundaries of writing about it. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Zoe?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to showing and telling the nation, the insides of different things, like being the son of, or of a sports figure or entertainer or anything like that. It could be difficult at times. It's a blessing at the same time. Double-edged sword type of thing, I mean, for us as the kids it's kind of difficult because, we see our dads out there and, we appreciate, the people's reactions and things, but sometimes we're kind of selfish as the child of and just want our dads there around. But then, as you get older, you realize, these guys create their legends, through other people, and those people help create them. And my dad was one of those guys that fed off of the nation and fed off of the people. And, I'm glad to be doing the same, and the people doing, the same thing, reflecting off on me now.
Now, what were your recollections? I would like to say, I mean, I'm sure that
to answer the question, I'm sorry, Cap. 2020, the book will be out.
Okay. Well, and we're all looking forward to it. I definitely want an autographed copy from you, sir.
You don't even have to ask. That's a given.
Well, thank you, sir. I would never assume anything. So, and I appreciate our friendship amongst that, because again, you guys can't see it on camera, but right over there is my Raider bookcase with a boatload of Raider books and all those other things. So I will definitely add it with honor. I got a couple autographed copies of I think Mike Ciani's book was the last one I got autographed. So I want to make sure I get one from you, sir.
Right. Well, I'll definitely make sure that happens, and anybody else sees me out there doing things, they can always come up to me and ask me for one as well.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, obviously, make sure you buy the book. I got to make sure we support our man here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have a lot of us will be involved with the book, just like, how I involved you and a lot of the other super fans and booster clubs and so on and so forth. I want to make sure that not just the Raider Nation sees us, but the actual nation sees what we're about and what we do, on and off season. And I just so happen to be able to, be that voice for the people. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in the future.
Outstanding. Well, now, other than writing and other than having your hometown, or I should say, being in Vegas, obviously you got the catbird seat of basically your childhood dream through your familial ties coming right to you in a couple years. So especially with that 2020 launch, that definitely coincides well with the Raiders coming to town. So that just works out so well for you, sir.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm glad it did work out that way. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are listening now, and people have been following me for a couple of years now. I've been talking about this book, but I just had to make sure it was done, the right way. So I pushed it back a little bit, and I'm glad I did, because now we'll be getting a different. It'll actually be a story and not just statistics and football book. And I'm looking forward to, sharing my story. And there's a story out there that, a kid or even someone, an adult like me out there that went through what I went through or going through it right now, or their parents or their mom, is supporting that athlete out there. Whoever I can touch with the book is the purpose.
Now, I don't want to give away too much for it, and obviously, as you alluded to, being the son of a player that's well known, obviously has some drawbacks. So I'm not going to delve upon the negatives, because again, that's probably going to be a very enticing portion of your book, and I'm sure everybody wants to read that as well. But
Cap, even those negatives turn into positives. So at the end of the day, the smoke clears. Everybody will have a great respect for my father and what he did, and respect for him as a man, and so it will all be a positive. So I look at it like that.
Well, that's great, and I appreciate that as well. So of the positives that I mean, other than the negatives turning to positives, can you give me like maybe something that quickly comes to mind as probably one of the nicer moments of your childhood with respect to your dad and the team?
Just going out with my dad on regular days, like it could be a regular Wednesday, and he'll call up Fred Blitnikoff or Ted Hendricks or some of these guys that we just idolize, and we're just like, wow, wow by, or whatever they do. I got to actually spend time with them, like quality time, and their kids, and those were the best moments for me, like actually going places with my dad, training camp, and walking around with him, and those are the best memories I have.
Okay. Well,
like those guys, those guys were players and stuff like that, but those guys were like my uncles to me.
Exactly. And I was going to say, obviously, with your dad's position in Soul Patrol, you hanging out, and did you get a chance to hang out with, like, say, Willie, George, and Jack, or at least see them more on a regular basis because of your dad as well? I would imagine.
No, most definitely. I mean, I don't know if I would have met them. I would have always been a Raider fan growing up in Oakland, but I don't know if I would have had those moments behind closed doors with them where they set me down about college or playing ball or whatever I was doing, at the time. But I've met all of them. I still talk to Cliff every other week. I've seen Willie at David Hum's tribute. Gave him one of the Soul Patrol patches. He looked at me, and man, it's a crazy feeling, man, to pass him that patch and how he felt about it and how he looked at me, and we talked about my dad for a second. Those are the moments that I appreciate the most, when I just get that one-on-one time. We just pass stories back and forth.
Great. And I will say this: you don't even have to get the word out, because I'm doing this. I'm going to let everybody know that if you are in the market for some Skip Thomas wine, if you're in the market for Soul Patrol patches, if you're in the market for various things, Raider memorabilia through any sort, please be sure to get a hold of Alonzo on Facebook.
I appreciate that. We're going to be the SBA is going to be putting out a lot of stuff this year, and I appreciate all the support we get, because, when I do put stuff out, it flies off the shelf, and that means a lot to me, as far as the mutual respect I have for the nation, So, I mean, I got new vinyls that just came out for your cars, your trucks, or whatever you want to stick them on, and jerseys and all kind of stuff, whatever you need, you guys can contact me anytime. Just look on my timeline. You'll see a lot of stuff, merchandise, and we're pushing it. SBA Inc. is really getting big. My design group, shout out to Loyalty Crew, for everything they do for me, and I appreciate you having me on, Cap. It means a lot. It means I'm pushing hard, and people are taking notice, and that means a lot to me. I mean, I made the SBA up from scratch,
And that is the Silver and Black Alliance, in case anybody was wondering. And Zoe, I hope you can see, I'm going to bend down here. If you can see right above my hat, what is right above my hat, right behind me. I hope you can see it.
Let me see that. Oh, wow. Yes, I do, sir.
There you go. That, and again, that means a lot for me. And folks, in case you can't see it, I'm going to try to point to it there. Whoop, there it is. Right there is a bottle of the wine that I got personally. That's it's showing in that picture that I did on the promo. Anything that's really, it's definitely heartfelt. You know, I make sure that I keep up with my personal collection. And the one gentleman says, "Hey, you got a lot behind you. Just wait until it's up on the wall." Because, you know, I spend money to get the way that this will be looked upon when I get my room done the way I want it to, and not just a collection of a bunch of stuff. I don't want to say craps, it's not crap, but a bunch of stuff that's in my room once it gets put on the walls of my new addition. And obviously, Zoe, you are definitely welcome out here, sir, as my personal friend. I definitely appreciate that.
Man, I definitely appreciate it as well, man. And you're one of the thousands of people that have reached out to me if I'm ever in their city, you know, to stop by or talk, you know, sit down, have a beer, talk about the Raiders. You know, those things mean a lot to me, man. The friendships that I've gained through the nation, and some through my father or different things like that, are truly a blessing, man. I've met some great friends and that have been here for me, and I've been there for them. And it goes past just the Raider thing, but friendships are a great thing that I've gained through this. And I really appreciate you for one, Cap. I mean, we've been friends from day one, you know, so you were one of the first people I called when I made up the SBA, and wanted you to be a part of it because I knew it was going to grow.
It has. And I one thing I'm going to try to, actually, I am going to ask if you have an SBA patch, as I put out in all my broadcasts. I want to make sure that goes on my Saturday vest, because I tell people, if you have an organization that is Raider centric, I want to represent it, and I want to make sure that the SBA patch is there for me.
I'll make sure you get that too. We got a lot of new products coming out. I got some SBA patches and vinyl, and oh man, I want you guys to, you know, pay close attention to my timeline. I also have in Las Vegas, I have a semi-pro football team that is named after the SBA. So I have a semi-pro team here in Las Vegas. It's called the Silver and Black Alliance. We play here, LA, Arizona, all kind of places. And if you see it out there, just please support it. You know, these guys are out here in the semi-pro league, trying to make it to different places, Canada, and the league eventually. And it gets them off the street. It gets them something to do and something constructive. And I watch these young men grow into men, you know, being on the gridiron and off. And I really appreciate it. You know, you get out there and support.
Well, I most definitely will. I will be out there for or at least the plans are for being out there for Raider Fan Convention, so I'll definitely come see you there. If there's anything you want from an old salt to come out and give you a rousing captain's yarg in front of your team, just because I love you, you make sure you let me know as well.
Man, I seen you in Arizona shaking your tail feather, man. I see you still got it. So I might take you up on that offer, you know, halftime show or something.
Hey, as long as my meds are working, and unfortunately I didn't get the shot in my back this week because I forgot to get off my meds for a week in order for them to do it. But if my meds are working and that the shots are there, I will shake as many as I can for you, so.
Sounds good, brother.
Okay, partner, is there anything else while you got the floor?
There's a billion things on my mind, but I'll try to put it in a nutshell. I want, you know, everybody to start practicing what they preach about this one nation thing. I see a lot of BS, you know, on Facebook, and the whole city to city thing and the move and this and that. You know, I really get sick of hearing it. You know, if you're a Raider fan, you're a Raider fan. You know, the Raiders come before the city. You know what I'm saying? And
oh, goodness.
Everybody wants to pick a city to represent. And without Oakland, really there is no Raiders. Without LA, there's no Raiders. And now we're going to have to look at Vegas the same way. So either with us or you're just not. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of seeing the separation when unity is what we're supposed to be having.
Partner, you couldn't have said it any better. As I've said it before, and I'm sure you will chime in, I'm a Raiders fan. I've been a Raiders fan from Jump Street in 1972, living in Philadelphia. I didn't care if it said Oakland in front of it or LA in front of it or back to Oakland in front of it. I understand that the roots of the blue-collar Raiders are in Oakland. But you know what? You follow the team, you follow the shield, you follow the pirate.
Exactly. You follow where the autumn wind takes you, you know? And the whole thing is just about unity. And like I said, just practice what you preach, man, and take it upon yourself to do so, man. And represent the Raiders, you know, silver and black. That's what we need to do.
That's right. Hey,
we got a great season ahead of us. I don't know what the gripe is about, you know? I really don't. This is the season where we should all come together because we got a lot of good pieces. You know, getting Gruden back was bigger than some of these, I don't know, can I curse? Half-ass.
There you go.
Raider fans
have
been acting.
I was going to say,
need to do your research.
Yeah, I was going to say the Raider reaction is a what do you call it? A strong language available. I'm going to have you on again when I do my podcast. It's going to be for, shall we say, kid friendly. So don't worry. You can swear on this one, but when we do the podcast, we'll make sure we keep it within the FCC.
Well, I try to keep it. You know, I try to keep it respectful out there anyway. You know, I represent the SBA and my father, so I try not. Even though my father was a world-class cusser, you know what I mean. Everybody knows that, but I try to keep it, you know, to where we can share this interview, and whoever gets something good out of it, you know, then I serve my purpose for the night, you know.
There you go.
I practice what I preach. I don't know about everybody else. I see a lot of BS out there, and it saddens me that you know, human nature takes over Raider Nation. And I patent that already, so don't even think about using it. Whoever out there, fuck y'all.
What was that? Human nature takes over Raider Nation?
You done fucked up and let me know I could curse now.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just messing around.
No worries, man. Hey, I tell you, I tried to do it where and people on this show know it, but when I was on Wednesday, there is nobody can get me into a swearing contest easier than Big L. And he loves it because he likes pushing those buttons, and he knows that I just go off when but you know what? I still love him. And as I love you, you know what? The F's can fly, but you know what? It means it because you're being as real as you can. That's for true.
And that's it, man. And they can hate me because they hate me if they want to. I'm still going to keep it SBA affiliated. It's always going to be silver and black. And I'm going to make it an alliance, you know. Whoever with me, they with me. If they not, they not, man. You know, and that's just how it is. I can't make everybody happy and put a smile on everybody's face, but I'm damn sure going to try.
Well, we've definitely enjoyed having you on here, Zoe. I said I appreciate you spending time with us. I didn't know how much time you wanted to spend. That's why I said it was open-ended.
I'm truly honored. I'm truly honored, Cap. You're a good dude, and you are absolutely a professional, and you're a Hall of Famer, and I have major respect for you, so I agreed to do this for you, you know what I mean, and put the message out there to the nation, you know.
Well, Zoe, I appreciate it, sir. It means a lot coming from you.
Ditto, my friend. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. And I'm glad you're actually getting out there and you got a show now and you have a lot to say and you got history to, you know, put into these kids that are coming up now, this new Raider generation. That's what I'm trying to do too. That's why I keep my father's, you know, memory alive and the guys that played along with him and before him and after the fact, you know. So, you know what, man? I'll give you one fact about Alonzo Thomas that just y'all don't know, man. But That Marcus Allen run, bro, changed my life. Not my father being a Raider. You know what I mean? I was a Raider because of the Raiders. And watching that Super Bowl and when Marcus Allen cut back on the field, it was a wrap for me.
That's right. If it was like 38 Bob Trejo or it was a certain number Bob Trejo, I remember it well.
Right, man. And that game is the first game that I can remember as a youngster saying, it's it for me. You know what I mean? I'm a Raider for life. And so, like we talked about it earlier, we touched on that subject. Doesn't matter where the Raiders go or end up or whatever. What the Oakland Council didn't do enough of, or the Raiders wanted to do this or that and wanted to be in Vegas. Whatever it is, and we go with it and we represent, man. Don't matter if they're on Jupiter, right?
That's right. That's why I say this with the best. As of right now, as long as this captain's heart still ticks, I will do everything in my power to make sure that I have at least one season ticket out in Vegas so that people will see me in my uniform, as I call it, because it's not a costume. A costume is for folks who are in Halloween. My uniform as a Raider fan is my garb as Captain Jack, and I will be in my uniform as long as my ticker is running in Las Vegas. I'm going to be there this year in Oakland. I hope to see you out there as well. 2019, we're not sure where, but I will be out there with you anytime I can be out there with you there, Zoe.
Well, you know, I'll be out there every year for sure, you know, for a couple of games, but you can definitely count on the Skip Thomas tribute tailgate party. That's every year, you know, for the Kansas City game. And, you know, the day before will be the meet and greet, the SBA meet and greet. So if y'all can mark that on your calendar, that's another thing I do every year is the SBA meet and greet the night before the Kansas City game.
Right,
and then the Kansas City game, we have the Skip Thomas tribute.
Right, and that's the early December game, and if all goes as planned, I'll be out there for you, brother.
That'll be awesome, man. I'd love to throw you on that flyer and let the people know that you're going to be there, and you know, they want to see you too, man.
Nah, they don't want to see an old man. They want to see all of Raider Nation there, and if an old man gets on your flyer, trust me, it's not. I wouldn't say I would be honored to be there with it because I am, but you know I don't want to scare people off as well.
Man, you're a Hall of Famer, man. You got a lot of respect out there, and people need to recognize, you know, what you super fans really bring to the table. I don't think I even understood before I started doing the research and started doing this book. What you guys really bring to the table is the spirit of the Raiders. And whenever you guys show up to my events or anybody else's events, I'm just as happy as a kid, you know, to see you guys. And so that's what I meant. The people will love to see you and see whoever else shows up to this thing, you know, not in a costume, in uniform.
That's
because
right.
I really do feel like you guys are doing the same thing, man. The way the players strap up, you guys strap up too.
That is true, man. And I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of preparations and things like that, man. I don't think people sit back and think of. And you know what? It puts a hole in your pocket as well. You know, it's a lot of dedication in a lot of different ways. And when I started traveling, like a couple of years ago from here to New York, just going to games, and I would see different super fans there, or in Kansas City, or you know, in Jersey and shit like that. Man, I'm blown away. Like you know, and RIP, man. I mean, you know, to get on that subject, I flew out to New York. You know, last time we played the Jets, and man, I'm walking down Times Square, and Oaktown Pirate screams out Zoe from out in the car. You know what I mean? I'm just like, wow, this dude was way out here. You know what I mean? You just never know, man. And it takes a lot, man, to do what you guys do. And, you know, I understand now why you guys can't even take 3 steps without taking a picture. Yeah. You guys are the spirit.
But you know what? I can speak for me, and I can speak for most of us. there's nothing that lights up our day than taking pictures with folks. And that's obviously with Raider Nation, but you know what? With the kids. And I also enjoy taking photos with quote unquote the enemy, because they say, hey, look at that pirate over there. Let's get a picture with him, because that's fun too.
That's the thing to do, though. You know what I mean? You're spreading the word that the nation isn't about just gangsters and this, that, and the other. All the negatives that they want to bring up about the nation, and that's another reason, like I said, I want to help and make the nation by, you know, supporting these booster clubs and super fans and putting them in this book to let the nation know, like, we way more than just that. All these barbecues and events and all-season stuff we do just to bring the nation together and, you know, see each other and throw these big events, you know, that I just don't see other organizations doing that. I don't see it in any other sport. So I really want to push that part of it. Like, that's part of our culture, you know, as Raiders. You know, those tailgate parties and us going out to the Hilton and us meeting up places and seeing these alumni players and the reactions they get from, you know, us just, you know, seeing them and things like that it's a really great feeling, man, to be a part of the nation. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. We need to embrace it now. We're about to be a good team, you know, with a great coach, and, you know, players want to come to this team. You know, we're on the up and up, man. I see. I don't know. Everybody's got a different opinion, but I don't know what you think, Cap. I think 10-6 myself. That's just me.
Well, I've gone up. I think that's when the commission and I did when the schedule was announced. I think that's what I had us down at as 10-6. Now, before the schedule came out, as far as like the order and all that other stuff, I said this is going to be a gel year, because I reminded people that under Gruden's first 2 years, 8-8, 8-8, and that set us up for 12-4 and 11-5. It still is going to be a bit of getting this team together to see how fast that they can gel. Gruden is definitely a coach that likes his veterans, and yeah, I hope he's going to be able to do a little bit more education on the younger guys, because unfortunately, and I don't say this in a bad way, but he hasn't done that in the past. So I'm hoping that he gets a little bit better in that. It could be, you know, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7, anywhere in there. But then when the schedule came out, I had us at 10-6. But hopefully those are the glasses that will prevail.
I like the pieces that we've added, you know, over the free agency and, you know, the draft. It was really good for me. I don't know. Everybody's got their own opinion about the draft, but I think we went after players that we need and players that can make an immediate impact as far as, like, starting. You know, Aiden Key is one of them. He's going to be on the other side. That dude's badass. You know, we got some real monsters, and everybody wants to talk about how old Derek Johnson is and blah, blah, blah. Well, Navarro hasn't showed much interest, and he wants more money. And we actually got a savvy veteran in the middle that can teach the next guy that's going to step up. So I'm happy with the moves we've made, you know, especially the DT position got addressed in the draft. And
not just once, but twice with Hall and Hurst.
Right, and then you got to look at the corner position. We went out. We didn't go get a Richard Sherman. We didn't spend billions of dollars on one guy. We went and got a bunch of savvy veterans that were starting on other teams to add depth. You know, and I feel that was super important. You know, especially with young Conley and these younger guys we have, these savvy veterans at corner can teach these guys, and we're going to be fine.
Right. And I was going to say, we got Nick Nelson in the 4th round. It's going to be a good up-and-comer. Obviously, Conley's going to be on that one side, providing hopefully that everything's good with that. The kid that we got from the Colts is probably going to be on the other side. And then we picked up, was it Worley? I think it was Worley. Yep. Great Worley. Ability, and Sharice Wright as a extra player. We got people there that are going to help us out.
Leon Hall.
Yeah, there you go, Leon Hall, which is why we don't need Pac-Man. We got Leon Hall, who has the ability and is not as old as Pac-Man. He doesn't have the bad attitude either.
Right. I don't think Gruden will pick him up. I think that there's just too much bad blood here with the Raiders for us to even look at Pac-Man. I mean, would I like to have him? Yeah, I'd like to have him if he's willing to take less money. You know what I mean? But I don't see that happening. You know, it would be a good addition, you know, but who knows what will happen in the locker room with him. And he's had the history with Amari. So, I mean,
Right.
I'm happy with what we have, and I'm looking to see, like, I'm looking forward to see when cuts start and we actually pick up a couple of free agents from that too. I mean, we got to think about that. We're still not done yet.
Oh no. We
when
picked,
these rosters start getting cut down, we're
Right,
gonna find them gems out there, and you know, teams that say, hey, you know what, we don't need to pay this guy. We got this other guy, and some veterans will be out there, and I hope we make the right decisions.
and I think we will. And again, Zoe, loved having you on. One final thought from you, partner. I'm going to take some comments, and I'm going to give some comments to everybody out there in Raider land as well.
My only thought is
Raiders. Hey,
That's it.
when you go back and you watch this, I want you to check out the introduction. You will definitely hear that coming from the pipes in my intro, partner.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And don't be afraid to use my song too. A lot of people out there haven't really heard it, but if you ask me to send it to you, or there's a way you can go to it and listen to the Dr. Death song too, man.
I love it. I got
a lot of stuff going on, man.
Right. I do love it. I want to put it in there, but there's no way that I've been able to find a source where I can download it that I can use it. So if you can give me some fine tunes on that, I will definitely use it.
Put it this way, I'll make it happen, Captain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
All right.
I got you.
Hey, from the words.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, lots of love to you, Zoe, and thanks again for coming on, partner.
Thank you, brother. And I'll go on and check out the comments and, reply to some of them and get to, some of them that I can. And thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks again for having me, Cap. Support them Raiders.
That's right. Hey, and if you got any questions for Alonzo, put them in the comments or go P4 right to the man himself. He will answer you.
There you go.
All right. Hey, Zoe, thanks again. We'll see you out there for RFC as well as hopefully your event, partner.
Anytime, Cap. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye.
All
right. Bye, Zoe. Thanks again, partner. And that was Alonzo Thomas. I was the one gentleman that said, "Who's your dad?" If you didn't know, that was Skip Thomas's Dr. Death's kid. So there's your answer right there. And so I will leave you with this. I will leave you with a couple things. I want to catch you guys up again on what's going on. Again, I have an affinity for the Raiders of old, because if it wasn't for, quote unquote, the Raiders of old, I wouldn't be here right now. If you're a kid in Philadelphia and you don't like the Eagles, there's got to be some reason why. And the reason why was watching the Raiders on NBC every Sunday, because they were always the 4 o'clock game on NBC. They were always the 4 o'clock game because they were the predominant team to beat in the AFC year in, year out, untold. They were always in the AFC championship game. Go look at that. I want to say at least 6 years in a row, they were in the AFC championship game in the early 70s. That's the Raiders of old. And it always used to piss me off when the Steelers would beat us. It pissed me off. But then we finally beat the Steelers, and then we went to the Super Bowl, and we kicked ass. And with Zoe's father, with Jack Tatum, with George Atkinson, and, of course, old man Willie taking that interception back, we beat the crap out of the Minnesota Vikings. And then the next year when we were in the AFC Championship game against the hated Denver Donkeys, we should have been to the Super Bowl again if it wasn't for a bad call that the officials didn't get right when Rob Lytle fumbled the friggin' ball and the officials didn't call it right. And this was before This was before instant replay. But again, the Raiders of old is where this team is at as far as the love. These people, the players, the fans give their all for the team. They always have from Jump Street. And that's the way it is. Dr. Death, thank you. We know you. We love you, Zoe. And thank you for coming out. The people didn't know why I have an affinity for, quote, the old guys. Because the old guys are where it's at. The younger generation needs to learn who these Raiders of old are. They are so much more, in my opinion, than a lot, not all, but a lot of the younger generation of Raiders. I'm sorry. I'm not an old man. I'm not an old codger. I didn't walk to school uphill both ways in the snowstorm and then in the heat of a desert each morning and night. It's the way it is. I'm not just an old man that is messed up in the head. I have a lot of love and knowledge, and because of the love and knowledge is why Zoe was my very first guest on Ask the Captain. On some days, we're not going to have a guest that's going to be able to speak his mind for the entire time, and I love Zoe for doing that. We wouldn't have the show that we had if it wasn't for people like him. And bless you, and bless your father, and bless those that we have lost. As I said from the beginning, we lost Billy Cannon today, and I did some research as well. I had another trivia question, which I will end the show with. Y'all know about the Soul Patrol. Y'all know about the Soul Patrol. But I want you to name who the Nickelback was. And I will take 3 answers. Who were the Nickelbacks of the Raiders defensive backfield when the Soul Patrol was going on? I got the answers right here. I got the answers right here too. But to make sure I was correct, I did research. I knew it, but I wanted to be sure. I'm going to take 3 answers. And of that 3, the reason why this brings it up is, again, one of them is no longer with us. Rest in peace to this gentleman as well. So as we leave the first edition of Ask the Captain, Zoe, thank you, man. Love you. Love you as well. Looking forward to seeing you, sir. Definitely look forward to seeing you. And yes, I will buy another Soul Patrol patch from you because I want to make sure it goes on some of my other gear. Gotta have it. So get me a patch ready for that, and that's going to be bought to make sure it goes into your coffers. But I definitely would love that SBA. That's going right on my Saturday vest. Hector, yes, the assassin was there. But I said Jack Tatum. I said Willie Brown. I said George Atkinson. I said Skip Thomas as Dr. Death. That's the Soul Patrol. If you guys look behind me, there's another 4 defensive backs up there as well. Now it's the no passing zone. Those were the Raiders defensive backs of the 80s. So again, lots of love. I love my D-backs. I was a grunt, man. I'm a lineman. I'm a big ugly, as they used to say. Keith Jackson, the big uglies. I'm a big ugly. I'm an offensive lineman. I played defensive lineman. I played, outside linebacker when I was able to rush because I got kind of too slow to play it in the latter parts of high school, but I still loved it. But again, Ask the Captain. Going to be doing this hopefully every Sunday that I can. Thank you as well, everybody. Thank you. No, Michael Haynes was not a Nickelback for the Soul Patrol, Mike. if that was what you were pointing out. 3 answers. 3 answers. And if you guys can want to wait to the next show and chime in, remember, I'm taking 3 answers. Yeah, okay. I will say Lester at the latter portion, Chris. You are correct. But Lester was more of a rookie back then, and he really didn't get to be the nickel back. He was more of a special teamer. So Lester would be the 4th answer. But I'm talking 3. Lester was answer 4. So guys got to dig. Guys got to know. Guys got to know your stuff. You can say, where'd you get that answer? Well, it's because it's up here. So again, Raider Nation, this is the captain. Yarg! Have a fantastic week. Join Raider Reaction this week for all of our shows. Goes to the Post Monday nights with the commish. Tuesday show. Wednesday shows the Raider Nation Invasion. And I will be back with the commish on Thursday for Raider Nation Ricochet. See you then. Have a great week. Love to all of the Raider Nation, silver and black. Except those trolls. Got to watch those trolls. I'm out. Have a good one.